Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor. We are here with another Alliance War video. This is going to be Alliance War Season 55, Number 7, and AOH has matched up against who? Now these guys are a relatively new alliance to Tier 1. They did make Masters last season, but that was their first ever Masters placement. So we knew we had to play pretty well against them. But we have a pretty easy war today. If I have to be honest, I didn't have any super complicated fights to the point where I was even slightly scared I was going to die to the fight. But we have some normal stealthy fights on my main, Luke fights on my alt, and then we are going to have features from both Ultron and Tigra on my respective accounts. So we have this Wong in Section 1. I don't know why I used that regen boost. I'm not going to take any damage in this fight. Just a weird decision, but it's whatever. I mean, the second fight's slightly more complicated, so I guess that kind of makes sense. But anyways, Wong on the first node, don't really understand the point of putting two tactics here, but you know what? If they're going to leave me two fights that are very, very easy, I'm just going to take it. I'm just going to take it and run. And we have this Wong. I guess technically, if we let Wong end with an L1, with over a bar of power when I finish him off, that technically I could end up getting a little bit in a bad scenario for the next fight. But honestly, it's just not really realistic that that's going to happen. So here I use my striker, and I use the striker to push him to an L1 because I know that's the last L1 I will have to bait, and this combo is going to kill him way before he reaches a bar of power. So perfectly executed stealthy fight, just bait the L1s, and even in the event that Wong gets to his max charges and unleashes his damage on you, his energy damage, the tactic takes care of it, so there is nothing risky at all going on in that fight. But the damage in war isn't even that bad. I mean, I know it's scaled properly. Here I had to do a slow combo to check for an unstoppable because I did dex, but it did not happen. And at this point, with the slow up, there is nothing he can do unless you get a perfectly timed shrug off comeback where you're trying to reapply your slow and it's available for just that little tiny bit of time. So it expires after your third light attack and before your fourth light attack, then it will eat your slow. But barring that, we can't really lose our slow at this point. So it's basically just an unblockable defender, and it's not even a hard defender at that. We're just going to kill him right here. Very, very easy 40-second fight once again. But yeah, I was just saying about Wong that his damage reflection is probably not going to kill you unless you've already taken damage in the fight, because I remember one season, it was probably like 10 seasons ago or more, I had to take a Wong boss with Valkyrie, and I accidentally hit him because he dropped his block as I was dashing in to hit into his block. And I took about 50% of my health, and that was, I think, even ranks or punching up one rank. So it probably did about 60k, which is not even that bad. With how large the attack rating is on the boss, that's not that bad. So here we have a shocker. We are actually going to be splitting this path. We're going to be splitting path 7, and that is because I simply do not have a counter to the next fight. I don't have a counter, and we kind of wanted to go with this because it's a bit of an easier matchup. Here, I'm going to throw my L1, but the special hits do not give him charges. So I noticed he was at 49, which means he can't auto block. He can only auto block when he gets above 50. And because he was at 49, I was able to safely land the special, and it could physically not get auto blocked. Here we are going to save our striker for when we are able to remove the protection, and we do a full combo there to push him to an L2, just because I prefer to push Shocker to his L2 and block it or dex it. And in this war, luckily, we are not going to get the dex bug that we had to worry, that we had to deal with last war, where I died because Shocker's L2 was not able to be dexed for some reason, even though I did the proper timing on the dex. Very weird. I did show it in the fight, but yeah, we're going to move past that. It's not that big of a deal. It's a death that ultimately didn't impact the war at all, although arguably every death is important since they changed the scoring system and deaths are now valued a lot more than they were before. I'm just going to skip forward. This guy takes a couple minutes to get to this fight and take it down. So let me just skip ahead here. We're scouting out our last fight of the war, I guess our second last fight of the war. There we go. Okay, so the fight goes down. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. I don't know why, but my video is just being super laggy right now. And whenever I move the video, it takes about 5 seconds before it responds. So I keep scrolling past. Here we go. All right, this is 38 Sasquatch. This is going to be a pretty straightforward matchup. I've done this fight so many times. We saw this. The officer instantly knew I was taking it with Stealthy. Very easy fight. I think I threw in an invuln, but it was actually not for this fight, because if for example this had been my last fight of the war, I definitely would not have pissed away an invuln here, because this fight is not worth an invuln unless it's your first time doing it. And I think for the first few times I did this fight, I actually did use an invuln. But yeah, we're going to be using our same strat here, where we wait to knock down with the L1 until it's going to push the defender to L2. Was hoping he would throw it, but luckily we actually get no tactic activation. So now that we get our slow up, that's going to be our slow for the rest of the fight. We're not going to have to worry about anything. It does look like the video is lagging a little bit, so hopefully that picks up. Okay, looks like it's back to normal now, but that was about 10 seconds of it going at about 3/4 speed, and I don't really know why. Hopefully it looks okay in the video, but for me recording it and I can see it as it's happening, it looked very strange. But yeah, anyways, we get a really late wrath here, which there's obviously a downside and an upside to. The upside is that there's a longer period of time where Sasquatch will have zero protection, so you're just going to be dealing full damage to him, with the downside obviously being that you have to bait a lot more specials, and in order to be able to safely counter the specials with whatever spacing you have to be able to push him to L2. So, but I personally prefer a late Wrath activation for that fight. Although if you get an early one, I do know how to play around it. So here we have a pretty easy matchup. This is going to be Hazard Shift Domino with Ultron. Very easy fight. Again, this is going to be on the Incinerate Poison mini. And we're just going to watch out, bait out Domino's L1s. We're going to get our heavy attacks off when we have the Striker. But our basics are actually going to be doing really good damage in this fight, because Ultron is basically made to counter Domino. All of his abilities are not subject to ability accuracy reduction, and you can see we don't even have suicides on here. We are just hitting like an absolute truck, and we're going to throw off our heavy attack here, and that's dealing over 11,000 damage per second. This L2 is just going to finish the fight off. Like, Ultron absolutely nuked that rank 3 Domino. A 6-star punching up. Just absolutely nuked Domino in, like, what, 50 seconds, if that? And for not running any suicides, that's pretty good. So here, that is going to be it for my main account. Let's go over to my alt account. Again, the video is just being super laggy, and I don't know why. And hopefully it turns out good for you guys, but if not, I'm going to have to reset my PC, because this is probably not a problem that's going to be resolved by me just restarting the recording. But anyways, we are going in for my alt account fights now. This first fight is actually going to get pretty sketchy, because against Man-Thing, I'm going to get really bad tactic timing. So basically any time that the debuff immunity is up, because I had to remove protection, which means that I don't have the ability to place tactic, my buffs are going to get nullified, and I'm going to get poisoned, which means I have no resistance to the poison. And I'm going to lose 50% of my health in this fight to poison. And I've taken this fight twice before. All 3 times I had the Wags pre-fight. So it's the exact same scenario. All 3 of them were rank 3 Man-Things. The first 2 I ended with over 90%. And the only difference between this fight and last fight is that it just happened to work out in this fight that every single time I had the debuff immunity up because I had to remove protection, that's exactly when he nullified me. And yeah, there's obviously a way to play around it. You could just play this node fully, like without even knocking him down a single time. But I would argue that probably takes longer because you're not removing protection. But anyways, yeah. So we're going to remove protection when we can, deal as much damage as we can. Manthing is obviously very tanky, and without crits increasing our damage there, I was trying to hit into his block with a light, but I was just barely too far away that the light didn't land before his attack started. So I did get comboed, but that's okay. And yeah, we're just going to not have the most fun in the world in this fight. I'm not going to show you the whole fight because I think the fight ends up being just under 2 minutes. So if you want to see it, I have uploaded the fight in 2 separate videos. So you can go back to my old war videos and check that. But let's just skip through the remainder of this fight. I have to do it really slowly so that I don't go past where he dies. Nope, still going there. Is the fight over here? No. Oh, looks like the fight took almost 3 minutes. Oh, there it is. We got it. We got it. Okay. So that was the fight ending, and it ended in 2 minutes and 47 seconds. And we have this Havok on the second node on Heavy Hitter. I have taken this fight in War number 1 versus, I forget who it was against, but with my Ultron, and he very famously decided to hold his specials for over 15 seconds while I was trying to bait an L2, went to L3 and killed me in a fight where I had taken 0 hits, which was just a wonderful way to start off the season. But with Luke, don't have to worry about the explosion damage. The fight's going to go a lot faster, and you are able to take care of his power gain rate with your exhaustion, so there's no risk of him going to L3 here. You are going to want to hit him with heavy attacks and specials to reapply your slow whenever you're able to. There, we just didn't have any debuffs, so the tactic couldn't apply a slow. But yeah, this one's going to be a very easy fight. He's going to charge heavy a few times, but we're not going to have any issues with him holding specials because we're essentially going to have exhaustions on him the whole time. And what we are going to do is we are actually going to be able to shut down the protection node with our concussions off the L2 at one point in this fight, which is going to be really nice because after that point, our debuffs are not going to fall off a single time, which is just amazing. So we'll do that right here, I believe. We're going to go for the L2, and this L2, yeah. So that concussion that is there is going to fail the protection from coming back because you have to have a protection, or you have to either have a concussion on before you remove the protection, like right here. The concussion failed the ability for the defender to shrug the debuff, and then there the concussion failed the protection from coming back. So it was very late in the fight, and it didn't really make that much of an impact on the outcome of the fight, but there you go. Just a little cool thing that can happen, because I only had 1 concussion up, which means failing the shrug off wasn't even guaranteed. But anyways, we have Wiccan on path 2. We have 2 more Luke fights. Every single fight in this war is a Luke fight except for 1 fight. That's a Tigra fight. Wiccan really on a diversity node. The nodes aren't going to do anything for him here. So we're just going to hit this boy and he's going to drop real fast. We don't have to worry about his incinerate damage, so I am going to parry him a lot. Don't have to worry about the Fury from the node expiring because it is going to get eaten. The power gain is going to get eaten by both the withers and the exhaustions. So Wiccan just basically has no defensive abilities due to this tactic, and he is just going to get absolutely ruined by this L2 right here, and the fight is going to be over. So another quick 25-second fight with Luke. When you get those ideal matchups, you got to take them. And yeah, that was very, very straightforward. Now we have Spider Ham. This is on the EMP node, and basically what we're going to do is spam SP1, because if you didn't know, the way that Spider-Ham evades is if you don't throw your L1 as soon as you get it, he starts gaining charges. So if you just throw your L1 instantly every single time, then you're never going to have to worry about him evading or placing his Porker Poppers on you, which are essentially Power Stings. They're just rebranded Power Stings. And yeah, very easy fight. We're not going to take damage from EMP because of the tactic, and even if we did, I think I only dex twice this entire fight because it just kind of worked out that he threw specials that didn't force me to activate dex. So yeah, even if we didn't have tactic here with the AI that I got, I wouldn't have died anyways. So obviously the taunt is going to be annoying, and it is going to lower our damage output, but Luke still hits hard, and the fight is still going to go down in well under a minute. So I'm not concerned whatsoever about that. Looks like we're going to bait this first. Okay, that's probably the right decision. And then we're going to do medium into L1. Keep the slow up. At the end of the fight right here, I am actually going to push myself over a bar of power as I go in to finish the fight off. But the combo, sorry, not the combo, the heavy there inflicted a slow. So even though he has his nonsense charges, he wouldn't have been able to evade anyways. So let's go up to our final two fights of the war. And we are going to have Tigra on node 40, which is the same fight that I have taken. I don't recall if it was last war or the war before. I want to say it was 2 wars ago, so war 5. But this is a pretty easy matchup. I am going to mess up this fight a little bit, so it is definitely not as good as last time. And in hindsight, I probably prefer Hood for this fight, although your special attacks would just do no damage, so you'd just be relying on your heavy detonation. So I actually don't know. I mean, Tigra's good enough for this fight that she's fine. But yeah, we're going to throw an L2. We do not have any ruptures, so this L2 is not going to do much damage. But I just wanted to get a special off to encourage him to throw his special. But unfortunately, he's going to be really mean, dash at me, activate Dex, because if I take that hit on the block, I have DOT applied to me. And yeah, just not a very fun scenario. There, we're going to intercept with an L1 to reset the timing on the Huntress, whatever it's called. I forget what it's called. And then here we're going to hit him with another L1. And I think he's just going to go down very shortly. We're going to bait probably one more special, or yeah. So we're going to bait one more special, and then this combo right here is going to take him down because we have neutralize up on him, and he is attempting to activate his regeneration with his personal kit. But because the buff gets neutralized, he gets ruptured, so we deal extra damage, basically. And now we have this Enchantress, pretty straightforward fight with Luke Cage. Luke Cage is going to take care of the regen from the node, as well as the power gain from the node, as well as taking care of the hazard shift with his personal debuffs, even though Enchantress is not a tactic champion. But yeah, we threw on an invuln here, and I forgot to buy a new one in the store, so I'm really glad that I saw that I could buy one there. And Luke is just going to absolutely destroy Enchantress. She is not going to be able to do anything in this fight, and it was actually really satisfying to do this matchup. We remove all her spells instantly, and I don't think we let her throw a special. If I recall correctly, she doesn't even throw a special other than an L3. So here we're going to pause, combo into our L2. This is going to do big damage, but Enchantress basically can't do anything. Her L3 doesn't do anything significant. It applies a debuff to me that's actually going to heal me with willpower, but other than that, it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't apply spells to her. It doesn't give her power gain. It just really does nothing. I guess my concussion failed the debuff she normally places on me. Either that or it just doesn't apply versus science champions. Either way, it's very easy. And then, yeah, we're just going to combo in, throw off an L2, and she's dead. She actually throws an L1 right before she dies, but because she doesn't get a miss spell, we can just hit her, and she goes down. and very, very easy Luke fight, very satisfying fight. I was very happy when that fight was done. And that is it for my war. On both accounts, we had a very easy, very clean war in general. And we did unfortunately lose this war, so who performed very well? I think they had 3 deaths or maybe 4 deaths, something like that. And we, once again, for the second or third war in a row, started off the war absolutely terribly. And although we did play a little better in the second half, which is normally how it goes when we play awful, it just wasn't enough, and they did take the W. So that was a very important war for us, and from this point forward, we have to win every single war remaining in the season to have a chance at Masters. If we lose even one, we're in Plat 1. So we don't want that to happen. We want to win, so we will do our absolute best. But we got so many tough matchups at the beginning of the season. We started off 0-3 because we just had 3 opponents that died 2 times or less. And I'm not joking. They all died 2 times or less. It was just a little rough. So we'll just need to play better. And in the matchups recently that could have been winnable, we've been playing some of our worst wars this whole meta. So yeah, we're now 2-5 on the season. My death total is at 3, 2 on my main, 1 on my alt. And my PSR for this season is going to be 87 out of 90. I'm just realizing right now that I forgot to update the percentages. So just look in the description if you're interested, and the percentages for my solo rate will be there. But my main is at 41 out of 43 fights soloed, and my alt is at 46 out of 47 fights soloed. So my Deathless streak is now up to 29 fights, which is just basically the last 2.5 wars, because I died 3 wars ago. And my main account is at a Deathless streak of 10. My alt account is at a Deathless streak of 19 fights. So that is going to be all. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.